What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Horror Feed. I'm Jeff. Joining me today is the oh so amazing and totally kick ass Miss Lezlie Dean. Lezlie, thank you for agreeing to come on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Completely my pleasure, and my honor. Definitely. So, for those of you who might be living under a rock and don't know who she is for some reason, which I highly doubt because everybody who's watching this watches horror movies, Lezlie here is from one of my personal favorite Nightmare on Elm Streets. She is from Freddys Dead. She plays Tracy, like one of the most badass women supporting characters in any horror movie that you're going to see. She was kicking everybody's ass, it seemed, in there. Like, don't touch her. Obviously, don't touch her. So first question I wanted to ask you, and this is just is just how are you doing? Like, how's your day been? How's your week been?
It's been really busy because I started planting a garden and all my little seedlings are sprouting, so I'm excited. After I get off the phone from here, I'm going to my friend's house and we're starting a victory garden for all of our friends who are having a hard time buying groceries right now.
Yeah, I saw that. Like, we're friends on Facebook, and like you've been like so proud of your garden and everything's actually like starting to sprout up and everything else. It's awesome.
Yeah, every morning I wake up, it's sort of like Christmas morning. I go down and check on my little baby seedlings to see how much they've grown. And now I can't even put the little plastic cover over them because they've gotten that big. So now it's time to transplant them into something else. I just don't know what to do next. So
just keep going, plant more and more and more. Have your whole giant garden going.
I know, right? Everybody can eat.
It's a good idea, honestly.
Right. I think so too. Great idea.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the questions.
Okay.
That way we can just pump them all out. I don't want to take up too much of your time. So the first question, this is a question that we ask everybody, and I wanted to ask you as well. How did you come by getting the role of Tracy for Freddys Dead in such an iconic franchise within the horror community?
Well, I auditioned for it, and I actually auditioned for, I think it was the second or third one, and I didn't get it. And I'd worked with Robert before. I did the 976 Evil with Robert, his directorial debut. And I'm like, oh, I got it. I want to work with him on the Freddys Dead thing or, any kind of Freddy movie. So I went and auditioned and went through all the callbacks. And then the very last callback, Rachel was there. And I had to do a fight scene with the casting director, and I pretty much kicked his ass. And Rachel was like, "Yep, that's the girl. That's the girl we're picking." So it was really cool to get on set. And go, Robert, what the fuck is up with you? So.
And so you said you've worked with Robert before. How was it working with him during this, like in like him being Freddy, obviously, and that whole thing, and how important of a character you were in the movie?
It was actually really different because the first time I worked with him, he was a director, so it's just a different role that he plays, and then he's an actor on this, and it was basically like working with your fellow actor on set. So, but we'd have a lot of laughs. Actually, whenever we're doing one of the fight scenes in the thing, where he turns into my father and we fight, he hit me in the head with the glove, and I had to go to the hospital, get a tetanus shot and some stitches.
Oh, wow.
Or some glue stitches or whatever.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So one of the questions that I was submitted to ask was, so recently Freddy's Nightmares, the Nightmare on Elm Street TV show, has been surfaced on a new streaming app. And I've had people wanting to ask, like, how did you come by getting back on that? Because this came out, if I remember correctly, after Freddys Dead, correct? Like, that series came out after that.
Right.
And then they wanted to bring you back in, correct?
Yeah, I think I just maybe auditioned once and it's like, no, this is your role. Here, come on, let's do this. And once again, it was just a blast working with Robert as a director. He's a really, I would love to watch him do more in that aspect, being a director, because he's He's very, I mean, as gifted as he is as an actor, he's as gifted as a director. He
He's
really like,
he's a
go ahead.
genius.
Yeah. He just really, like as a director, he really makes the atmosphere conducive to creating, if that makes sense. Like you feel so comfortable. You feel like you're in this little creative womb. And I think because he's a classical actor, that he knows how we all feel and he wants to create the best atmosphere possible for us to do the best work that we can, you know, and he's so much, you always feel like he's right there with you too when he's directing you, you know, you feel like somebody's hand holding you. So it gives you more, I'm not going to say strength, more confidence to, you know, push further and go deeper and all that cool stuff.
That's awesome. So another question that was submitted was a lot of the it's a question type. It's like a question and it's a weird how they worded it. I'll just read it off. So a lot of people from like the Nightmare series lately are doing conventions. Like we have Frightmare coming up, and there's like the entire Nightmare 3 cast there, and like Beatrice has been doing conventions and everything else. So one of the questions that was asked was, are you doing any convention appearances? And if you're not, would you be willing to do any convention appearances if the opportunities arise?
I've started doing a little bit of them. Like next weekend, I'm going to Bastrop, Texas, you know, where the gas station is.
Yes.
I'm doing that. And then I'm doing one in Houston in July. And then they're talking to me. There's one in the UK in November, possibly be doing them. But yeah, completely open to it. I think I've done like 4 or 5 of them, and I have a blast there, and it's just cool to like meet everybody and hang out and talk. You know, I'm sort of like the hang out and talk table. So
that's awesome. Like I mentioned earlier, Frightmare is coming up, and that'd be awesome because like Lloyd he listens to the people, like the man who owns that show and like runs it. He listens a lot.
oh no, I know him. I know Lloyd. I did one. Yeah, I did one Frightmare. That was like the first convention I did.
Need to get you back out there. Definitely need to get you back out there.
It's all about people, you know, throwing the name out there to the promoters. So
I would definitely be throwing names. I'm sure everybody else will as well, because it would be nice to get a Freddys Dead reunion. If that was possible, that would be really cool as well.
I know, I agree. That would be so cool. That's what the Ricky Dean, he's been working on that for a while to try to get he and myself on one together, you know, with Lisa. I wish Yaphet was still around. He was so cool. Yaphet was such a great guy.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it sucks, like, because he passed, correct?
Yeah.
That's
I
what
think
I
about
thought.
a year ago, maybe. I think it was
Yeah, I
about a
don't
year
think it was
ago.
very long ago.
No, and we a couple of years back, we finally hooked up on Facebook, so it was nice to hook back up with him, and then he passed away.
Okay, let's see. Another question. We can go through these. So, if the opportunity ever presented itself to revamp or revive the character Tracy, so I'm reading off my phone,
That's okay.
would you ever be willing to do that character again?
Oh hell yeah. Oh hell yeah, because I believe Tracy had a complete awesome character arc after she got through her teenage years. I think she became very successful. She probably became a child psychologist or some kind of like teach women how to fight, black belt in karate, because she was just a very strong young lady, you know, that just had some really bad stuff thrown to her. But I believe, you know, that her character arc brought her into adulthood as a very strong and powerful woman. And you know, Tracy is actually the only survivor out of all of the Nightmare series. When you go through all the comic books, the movies, the novellas, Tracy is the only one that survives. Isn't that
And
cool?
that's like one of those little things that not a lot of people know about too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Tracy's one of those characters where we're gonna be filming an episode within like the next month or two, where we already did like the top survivor girls, but we're gonna do one that's that gets more in depth, like especially with the Nightmare franchise. And Tracy's one of the ones that I'm actually excited to talk about, because like given like in the movie, we see her past, we see the things that have happened to her, and we see the kind of woman that she is right then and there, you know.
Right,
And the
right.
fact that like she's not willing to take anybody's crap, and like that was pretty much women empowerment before women empowerment became a thing.
Exactly. Yep.
and
Exactly.
and that's
You
huge.
just
Like
gave me
that's
chills. You
a
gave me
huge thing.
chills saying that. It is. It is.
Yeah, and like that's amazing. Like right now, like I like my daughter, like I let her watch horror movies and all that. I don't care if she's old enough. And I straight up told her, I was like, these are the kind of women you need to like model yourself after, if anything, because like these are strong women. Before being a strong woman was cool, before being a strong woman was like a movement, these
Right.
women were doing it. And
Yeah.
you know, they're kicking guys' asses. And I'm like, you better be kicking guys' asses too.
You sound like my dad. My dad was like that. You know, it's like, you're just as good as any guy or any girl. Don't let anybody tell you that. And I'm like, okay.
That's awesome. Let me see another one. Let me go through these. My phone, I should have unlocked my phone. Okay, I'll ask this one. So another thing that this is something that we typically ask, but somebody actually wanted to ask too, was do you have any current projects in the works right now? I know if you do, you probably can't talk a whole lot about them, but do you have anything like going on right now as far as possible projects in the future?
I do, but it's going to be more behind the camera stuff. And, I also have my band Scary Chair and the Bang Bangs, although we're on a hiatus right now. But we have about 16 songs that are going to be coming out. And myself and Captain Canada, we shoot all the video and edit it. So I'll be working behind the camera and that, but there's also some other things that are going to be pitched soon, and hopefully that'll come to fruition. It would be really, really cool.
That would be awesome. I would very much look into that, be interested in it. So when that's ready, let me know.
I sure will.
And let's see. Another one. Let's go with that one. Okay, this is a simple one. This one just made me laugh. So one of the questions was, what was your personal favorite scene that you got to shoot during Freddys Dead?
Oh God, there's so many. I really got to think about that one. It's probably the kitchen scene where Robert and I are fighting, and then I'm having to like put my hand over the fire. And the thing is I had to actually put my arms in the flames, and that was so freaky. But they had this goo that they put on your arms,
Yeah,
and you push them down, but you actually get the reaction that you're really going to put your arms in the flame, and it's just so weird that it doesn't burn. That was really a great scene. I had a great we had a scene where we shot it for 13 days, and not a lot of that scene made it out into the film, where Yaphet Kotto, where he's teaching me the capoeira and the fighting and all that. It was a 13-hour day of fighting. It was probably the longest, hardest workout I'd ever done in my life. But what was so cool is when I got on set the next morning, Rachel made sure there was 5 dozen roses for me, a great gift basket, for just doing a good job. And talking about, women empowerment, we have to talk about Rachel Talalay as well. I mean, one of the first prominent women directors,
definitely.
and producers. At New Line, she was a major producer as well.
She was, and she's in the movies too. Like she's in quite a few of the movies, like a little cameo type thing, just like Robert Shea is. So
yeah.
but no, like she's amazing. That's somebody else that I am currently working on getting for the channel, is because I really want to pick her brain with a lot of stuff, and people have been asking about it. But no, she is, you're absolutely right about that.
She laid some good foundation, some good groundwork for women.
She really did, and it's incredible. Like she was, again, like the definition of a strong woman right there. Like she's in a pretty much a male dominated
exactly
system, pretty
industry.
much.
Yeah,
and
it is a male dom. Yep.
And she came in one of the biggest franchises, to this day. The Nightmare on Elm Street franchise is one of the biggest franchises, and the fact that she was there and kicking ass, that's amazing.
Yeah, and also what I admire about her too is, the one that we did, it was so different from the rest. You know what? And she had the balls to do that one. You know what I'm saying? She had the balls to take a chance with Freddys Dead, the Nightmare, because it's the final nightmare, because it sort of goes off the beaten path of the other ones that beforehand. So I think she did a really great job.
I definitely agree with you on that one. And like I said, this one's one of my favorites. Like I love them all, but just I don't even want to say like how kooky it was, but just it was different and like it changed the rules too. Like that was one of the big things because like the whole thing with Freddy throughout the series was the whole Elm Street, like
Yeah,
it's supposed to be Elm Street, but then he's like, this isn't Springwood anymore, but every town has
right.
the Elm Street,
Elm
and it's like,
Street.
okay, I see what you're doing.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Yep.
And then he introduced like the daughter aspect of it, and like you're wondering who it is. Is he does he have a son or is it the daughter? And then
Right.
just it was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you
And
still
then
have your 3D glasses?
yeah, I do. I actually do have a pair of the
Awesome.
3D
That is
glasses somewhere up
awesome.
in here.
That's
I
great.
was like, I was never getting rid of them. Like I love those things. I still have like all the VHSs too. Like I
Uh-huh.
love it. Absolutely love it. But okay, let me see. Another question. I'm trying to get through as many of these as possible. Okay, let's see. I asked that one. Okay, here's one. So, and this is one that we typically ask as well. So I'm actually happy that somebody else was asking it. So somebody here is asking, out of everything that you've done, out of all the
Uh-huh.
things that you have done up to this point, what is the one thing you would like to be remembered for? I know, right? Like some of these people, they get
Oh
into this.
my God. Well, okay. Let me just start with this. Okay. When I grew up, I was a national champion speed skater. Then I was
Oh
a
wow.
Dallas Cowboy cheerleader for about 6 weeks. I got kicked out of there for punching the choreographer. Then I became an actress. Then I was in a band called Femme de Femme, and we toured the world, like Nine Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson. We toured with. Had a musical, The West End of London, that Jack Nicholson backed. Then started doing my own music, then moved to Texas because my mom was dying. I moved back to take care of her and did roller derby. And then started scary cherry and the bang bang. So gosh, that's a really, really, really tough question. I've had I've had so many different lives, so to speak, that I don't know. That's really, really tough. You know what? What I'd like to be remembered for is that I was a really good person. How about that?
There you
And
go.
that
That
I
works. I was gonna
actually
say just
that
being
I
an awesome
yeah.
person.
And just it's more just being a good person. It's almost like that I was a person that helped light other people's fire. Does that make sense?
That does.
That's what I want to be remembered for.
And you mentioned that you played roller derby, right?
Uh-huh.
So like this one's not even a question from anybody else. I'm asking this one. So I have a lot of friends who play roller derby, and so
Yeah.
like how long were you playing roller derby for? Like
I
were
played
you
it for 4 years. I was a captain coach. I was on the travel team. My team that I captain and coached, we were undefeated because we better be. I was an asshole captain, but a good captain. But I grew up speed skating. I was a national champion speed skater. So I started that like 44, and I was beating all these girls who were 18, 20, 30. They're like, how can you do that? I'm like, because I was a national champion speed skater. I know how to do this, and I know how to. And what I really enjoyed was teaching the girls, teaching them how to skate. Once again, it was a woman empowerment thing. I think
Yep.
that's just sort of ingrained in me. My dad ingrained that into me. So, see, you're a good father doing that with your daughter.
No,
You
that
know?
that is cool. So here's another question that I'm gonna ask. When you're doing speed skating and all of that, was that prior to becoming an actress?
Yeah, I did that from age like 10 to 18. Because and it was roller speed skating, and while I was doing that, they had the promise that it was going to go into the Olympics, the RSRA. It's like the roller skating rink union thing. they were always in talks with the Olympics. So I was always training in the back of my mind to go to the Olympics. So, and it never made it in. And then ice skating stole our short track version of racing, you know, where they put like 5 people on the line and they skate the 100-meter track. That's what we did.
Yeah. That is crazy. So what got you into deciding you wanted to be an actress? Like, how did that go from that transition from doing that to wanting to get into, Hollywood?
Well, I was living in Texas and I took a trip to LA because one of my friends lived out there while I was in junior college. And I met this man who's like, I want to make you a star. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. But I ended up, he actually came and got me. And like the second day I was there, we went and met some French guy. And then I ended up being in Esquire magazine on a photo shoot and all that stuff. And everything just sort of fell into place, I knew I wanted to do something like that. And like I did modeling for a while, and I'm short, but I actually had a really good career in modeling, which was bizarre. But I realized I don't want to worry about what I look like for the rest of my life if I have a zit or if I pudgy, or you know what I'm saying? I'd rather be an actor. I'd rather be able to be real. So I just sort of fell into that.
That's awesome. Like that's an incredible just series of events. Like that is such a life turn.
No,
but
it was.
But that's amazing. Like you have honestly, and I'm not saying this to like kiss ass or anything, but you have honestly lived a pretty damn awesome life. Like just all the different things that you've done, like that's awesome. And then like now, you're making your own food pretty much, like you're planting and growing, and that's awesome. Like I haven't even done any of that. I think this is like the most important thing I've ever done was start this YouTube
this is
channel.
Cool. This is cool shit, man. You're bringing, awesomeness to people. So just keep finding what makes you joyful and go for it,
Yeah.
Whether
And this is
planting
it.
a garden or whatever, see, and just keep doing it. And, when you do what brings you joy, money and all that may follow, it may not, but you know what? You're going to be happy. And that's really the bottom line, right?
Exactly. Like I've told people have asked me about this. They're like, "Oh, you just want to get YouTube famous?" And I'm like, I honestly don't give a crap about that. Like, if I could do this for a living, I would be happy as hell because I love horror movies, and I love being able to talk to you guys, and like that's what I enjoy. Like that's it. And then it's cool just to know that when my time comes, like my kids will look back and like they'll see these and they'll be like, "Hey, Dad was kind of okay.
Yeah.
Not the coolest, but cool enough."
Right.
But
no, that's great. That's great.
And like I just wanted to say personally, and like I thank everybody who comes on here, and I wanted to thank you as well, like preemptive strike pretty much. It's because of all of you that this channel is doing good and slowly growing, and I really do appreciate it. And thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking time to actually like sit and talk with me.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Almost like pulled my phone out of my hand.
Okay, enough of this mushy crap. Let's get on to 2 more questions. Okay, I'm going to ask you at least 2 more, and then we should be good, okay?
Right.
So this is you're being called out. I do this to everybody. Some of them get mad at me. I'm going to do it for you as well. What would you like to say to all of your fans right here, right now, that are going to be watching this once it's uploaded, when they're watching it like 5-10 years from now?
Oh,
what would
God.
you like to say to all of them? Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot.
I know exactly what I'm going to say. Shine, motherfucker. Shine.
I like that. That's perfect. Especially nowadays with everything going on. Like that's an important message. That is a very important message.
Yep.
And the last question I am going to ask you, normally my co-host asks this question, but like I said, she's not here, unfortunately. So, what is your favorite scary movie?
The one that scares the living shit out of me that I cannot get through, but it's The Exorcist. I know most people think that like, oh my God, this is the stupidest movie. No, I had to go to therapy because of that movie. I live in a haunted house. I've always lived in a haunted house. I guess our family, our lineage is haunted. So that movie really, really hit home with me because I've dealt with, I mean, nobody possessed, but I've dealt with some really creepy shit.
Yeah, so this is one of the more common ones that we get, and it's completely understandable. The Exorcist, like it's crazy. Like it is genuinely like scary. It's not like slasher scary,
No,
but and that's what everybody thinks. I think that's what they trying to assume with. It's like, no, this isn't like Exorcist is not a slasher. Like this is more like a psychological thriller of something that could
yeah,
very well happen.
yeah,
And there's been reported cases of
yeah,
exorcisms and everything like that. So
yep,
it's just like Annabelle, there that whole curse thing, and like that's a
yep,
very legit thing. Or Fire in the Sky, that's a movie that freaked me out when I was a kid
yeah.
because they said it was based on a true story, and I'm like,
You're like,
aliens
oh
probing me?
shit.
Hell no.
Yeah.
So that's a movie that even I'm 36 right now, and I still haven't watched Fire in the Sky. I watched it one time when I was a kid, and that was it.
That's
Like
great.
never again.
But I do love like the Amityville horror, Poltergeist. I love all the like the werewolf and Frankenstein and
Yes.
Dracula movies. I love stuff like that. And yeah,
No, that's awesome. Yeah, the Universal monsters is what
yes,
got me into
monsters are
this at a
great.
young age.
Oh, you know what? My roommate Mario, his aunt is actually or was actually Yvonne DiCarlo, Lily Munster.
Oh wow,
I know it's
really?
not Universal Monsters, but I just thought, oh yeah, yeah, his aunt was Yvonne DiCarlo. Isn't that cool?
That is awesome.
And his sister looks exactly like her.
I believe it honestly.
Yeah,
But man, that is so cool. And I
yeah,
love the Exorcist answer too. That makes me happy because the Exorcist honestly is it's one of the best in my opinion. Like nobody will ever be able to change my mind on that. Like
yeah.
Exorcist is to this day, it still stands the test of time.
I hear the like soundtrack, the tubular bells thing, and I always have to go la 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 because it creeps me out. I actually had to sleep with my mom and dad after I saw it, not in the bed with them, but on the floor beside their bed. It really, really just mind fucked me.
Oh wow. That's how I felt about Halloween. The first time I saw the original Halloween, just it was the sounds. And like because like I
Yes,
explained that to everybody too. It's like when Carpenter originally made that was like that's something that could happen. It wasn't
right,
supernatural. It wasn't,
right,
the whole relation thing. It was literally a babysitter killer. And
right.
so like
Yeah.
that scared the hell out of me when I was little. And then just like the sounds, like that's
Hmm.
how like Carpenter is masterful when it comes to the soundtrack. Like he
Yeah.
knew what he was doing, and that puts the fear of God in you.
Yeah. No,
And The Exorcist too. It's the same
yeah,
thing.
maybe it's like auditory, but I'm so affected auditorily. Like, the way in Exorcist, the voice would be like, just like, I can't take, it's just like it makes my skin crawl if I hear those voices and also, just the soundtrack.
Yeah, no,
Sorry, I'm like going off, getting off. Whoa!
and you can't have any type of horror movie without the sound, like the soundtrack and all that. This is the sound effects. Like it was just picture, like, I mean, I guess if it was like silent, but even back then it just wouldn't have had the same impact, I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what I think? I think with all the CGI and stuff now, if they would use the CGI and it'd be silent, it'd be creepy. I think if you get too much going on with, stimulation with your auditory and your eyes and everything, then I don't know, it sort of like overstimulates where you can't sort of get scared. Does that make sense? Do you
Yeah,
understand what I'm saying? It's like use one or the other, don't use both. Like the CGI, I don't know. CGI to me, I think it's just so overdone. It's sort of like a band that's way too produced. It's too polished. You need that grittiness.
I definitely agree. Like that is one of the things that I was talking to a friend about it the other day. I definitely prefer practical effects over CGI.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Sabini style, like things like
yeah,
that. I absolutely love that. I prefer that.
yeah,
And like CGI is cool, but they are overusing it.
yeah. It's like it gets overproduced.
Yeah. Like if you're using it for like a Sonic movie or something, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like for horror, it's like I like the elements of, just taking it back. I guess old school would be the term, just going back to how it was before CGI.
Yeah. What was that movie with Anthony Hopkins? He's like, "Have you checked the children?" Do you remember that movie where he was like that creepy guy? What was the name of that movie?
Oh my God, I know what you're
That was a
talking
creep.
about,
That
but
was a
it's
creepy movie too.
yeah,
Have you
like I know
checked
what
the
you're talking about. I
children?
just cannot think of the name. I'm
Yeah,
brain
that was a
farting
good
on
one.
that. That's gonna bug
Yeah,
me. Now I'm gonna have to look it
we'll
up and
hang up
find
and
out.
go, "Oh my God, that was the name of it."
That's what's gonna happen. Watch, like there's gonna be a time where like later today or tomorrow, I'm gonna be all like, "This is." I'm gonna message you and I'm like, "I knew what it was. This is what it was."
Check your phone right now. Check your phone. Look it up on your phone. Just Anthony Hopkins. Have you checked the children? See if it comes up on your phone.
Let me see. I'll check real quick.
What the hell was it?
Anthony Hopkins.
Have you checked the children? When a stranger calls. That's what it was called.
Is it
When a
what a
stranger
stranger
calls.
calls?
Yeah, when a stranger calls. But we'll keep going. We'll find out.
Oh crap! Hold on.
Is that it?
Almost. Trying to do this with my mic in front of me. I'm on his IMBD right now.
Oh, cool.
Figure this to be the easiest way.
Was it like 1976, 1977?
I am going through it all right now. I am reading it. Everybody gets to watch us doing this. Body business, no dance squad. We're in the 80s right now.
I don't think it was the 80s. I think it was the 70s.
Now I'm in the 70s. The Fury. Homicide.
I'm almost positive it's when the stranger calls.
I'm not seeing it.
Just type in "when a stranger calls" on Google. I would do it, but I'd lose you, so I can't do it.
No, I got it. And we're going the 79 film because I'm pretty sure that's when it came out, was 79.
Okay.
No, it's not the newest one. Cast. Yeah, I believe that is. Looks like it.
Yay!
You're right. I can't.
Cool. I'm gonna have to go watch it now if I can find it anywhere.
That old one, it's hard. Like I go on Amazon, I buy like everything off Amazon.
Yeah.
But no, that was awesome. Everybody gets to see us looking and checking this out. So deal with it. You got a little bit of extra. We were on a mission.
Yes, we were.
So I don't know, like if you're gonna be out there at the end of the month with Frightmare Weekend. If for
I
some,
won't actually. I'll be out of town that weekend.
you'll be out of town.
Yeah, I'm going. We're having our family's doing a big family reunion, and we're doing a fish fry down at Chambers Creek Lake.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to speaking with you again.
Yes.
Once you're like when you're talking about the music and everything else, once that's ready, let me know and I will do like a little thing, maybe get you back on here and we can share it. Like we'll
Cool.
give all the info out and talk about that a little more. And I will definitely be, I mean, Lloyd, so I'll be definitely talking with him and try to get you Like I would love to see you at the conventions. We go to Frightmare every year, so it'd be
Awesome.
awesome to hang
Yeah, he's a
out.
great
And
guy. Yeah, it would be great. It'd be great to meet you in person. So,
yeah, he was actually the very first person we interviewed on the channel
oh,
because
that's so cool.
he never does interviews. He's like, I'm just the guy who runs the thing, I'm nobody. And I was like, no, you're definitely not a nobody. Like,
Yeah, he
and
really started, he's done really well for Texas and the horror and everything.
yeah, he's an amazing man. Okay,
Yeah,
but I think that about wraps it up. I've gone a little over 30 minutes. I apologize. I try to
I
be
have
mindful of the
fun.
time. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have enjoyed this interview. And again, I wanted to say again, thank you very much for agreeing to be on here. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to my whole group that's on here, THF HQ. We all do appreciate it and we thank you. And I think I speak for the entire horror community when I say just thank you. Like thank you for
Thank
what you have
you.
done. Thank you for what you have brought to us. Thank you for giving us such an amazing character. It's such an amazing franchise.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys. And shine, motherfucker, okay? Keep shining.
I like that. Don't forget that.
Okay.
So for the Horror Fiend, I am Jeff. This was Miss Lezlie Dean. You guys have a great day. Stay safe. Peace and bell bottoms.
Bye.